Everybody, this is Jo Smart from Fi Angels here for your March 2021 Lightworkers reading. I hope you had a good February and it gave you the opportunity to clear your vibes and get creative and feel like you're beginning to come out of hibernation like we talked about. I think Archangel Metatron, certainly where I live, gave us some fabulous weather to be able to make the most of our one trip out we're allowed here in England at the moment. Last weekend we went for a lovely walk on a beauty spot that we've got locally, and it was so uplifting, and the birds singing and feeling the sun on your face. Afterwards, I was a bit like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, all creaky and needing some oiling, but it certainly helped blow away the cobwebs and made us feel so much better. So I think for what advice we got last month, week 3 was certainly the most important for me. And the sun is still shining. You can see it through my hut, sending rainbows on my face, which is lovely. So I want to build on from that theme about coming out of hibernation for March, because winter is always a bit of a time of kind of just staying indoors and resting and staying warm, isn't it? But obviously this year, with the global situation we're in, and particularly in the UK being in a lockdown all of this year so far, it really has been kind of a forced hibernation, socially, spiritually, as well as physically. And I know that talking to many people, seeing posts on Facebook and social media, and certainly for myself, part of the coming out of hibernation and coming out of lockdown is about confidence, and that's what I really felt called to talk to you about today, because we've all been living in our households, in our bubbles, and when we do go out we only see half of people's faces, and we've had to adapt the way we work, or we've been furloughed, or we've been homeschooling, and physically there's been an impact on us as well. I mean, I know I'm not looking my best self, and because I probably spend at least half the week on video calls for my day job, I am reminded of that all of the time. And we haven't had face-to-face contact with people, and I know that I went into the office for the first time this year last week and felt my conversations were quite stilted. And also spiritually, whether it's for yourself or for others, I potentially can open on the 12th of April. I'm going to wait to see what the numbers and the advice are before I make a decision. But I haven't had a client since the 4th of December, So for me, it's about, gosh, how can I make sure that I do the best? Am I out of practice? So, there's lots of reasons that many of us, whilst we are really looking forward to lockdown easing and us being able to do the things we enjoy again and the things that we're used to again, I think many of us also are feeling a bit worried and a bit nervous and anxious about that. So today's reading, I've really felt called to talk about not necessarily us as light workers, but us as people, us as spiritual beings living a human life. Because whilst we are on a path of enlightenment, we do still want to look good. We do still want to do well at our jobs and be good partners and parents and children, and we do want to have fun and spend time with people just because it's a good thing to do. So today is less about us healing and us bringing light. It's about ourselves. What do we need as people to help us with our confidence as the coming out of hibernation continues? So a couple of things that we can do, which popped into my head this morning, is around kind of rebalancing our chakras. Because the how different this last year has been will have affected the alignment of our chakras. So confidence really is about our solar plexus. So our self-esteem and our confidence comes from there. And if we're feeling anxious, or we have a reduction in confidence, and we're feeling a bit, unhappy about certain aspects of ourselves, and it's our solar plexus that needs some attention. So a really good crystal, and crystals associated with the colour of the chakra that you want to concentrate on, is a really good kind of way of knowing which crystal to use. So what I use for my solar plexus, oops, Daisy, got a bit of energy net, it's been charging overnight in the full moon, so steady on there, is citrine. So citrine is also about, abundance, and, to attract abundance, we need to be confident. So it's all connected. So you could, if you've got a citrine, if not, it doesn't matter, because again, it's about setting the intention. You could just sit there quietly, holding it on your solar plexus chakra, or just having your hands on your solar plexus chakra and setting the intention that it's cleansed, it's balanced, and that it's shining. I often, when I'm doing Reiki on myself or chakra balancing myself or on clients, I imagine it as a big sunflower kind of bursting forth, all balanced and lovely and clean. And another chakra that I personally feel has been affected because of the different ways we're communicating is our throat chakra. So I've been wearing my lapis a lot to try and keep that cleansed, keep that balanced. And again, same as with the citrine on your solar plexus, if you just put your hands over your throat chakra, wherever you feel most comfortable. I often do it here because theirs can be a bit, feel strangled. And again, setting the intention that my throat chakra is cleansed and my throat chakra is healed and it's balanced, and it's a big vibrant blue ball. So you can see my nails are blue. When I know when I need to do some work on my throat chakra, I feel called to wearing blue or to blue things. So doing my nails blue. So obviously that's an area I need to concentrate on at the moment. So they're just a couple of things that we can do in terms of having the confidence and improving our confidence to be us, and to communicate again with people as we slowly get back to that social kind of normality. And I'm also going to ask for the support of the angels and the universe as well in this reading. And I felt called to go to the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue, published by Hay House. And it doesn't matter if you're a guy listening to this, because we all have masculine and feminine energy. And so just as you can call on male or female angels, or you can call upon, male or female ascended masters, guys are just as welcome to call upon goddesses as well, or connect with their goddess energy, because I say, we all have male, female, god, goddess energy within us. So don't be put off if you're a fella. So, and what I want to do today is not pull a card for each week of the month, but pull a card for 3 different parts of us that we may be feeling a bit less confident in. So I'm going to pull a card to give us advice and guidance and support around our physical self, a card for our social self, and a card for our spiritual self. So who we need to call upon, what type of attributes do we need to be using to help us in this next stage of coming out of hibernation. And then, because we're still in full moon energy, because it was last night, it would be silly not to pull a card from the Moonology deck, which this is the box for it, which is by Yasmin Boland, and this is also published by Hay House. So I have connected this morning, and I've charged my cards, and I've set the intention that the goddesses are going to tell us what we need to know to improve our confidence and to get back to being us as people, physically, socially, and spiritually. So here we go. I did one for myself this morning and pulled out Pele, which is about being honest with your emotions and your dreams. That's our physical. That's That's our social. And I'm going to go back over here for our spiritual. And look, this one wants to come out as well, so we'll just have that as an add-on. Okay. Kind of slipped out as I was putting so. Okay, so physical. We have Ostara, and she's the goddess for fertility. So she's a Nordic goddess. And interestingly, in March, we start the Easter season, don't we? And actually, the Christian Easter replaced the kind of pagan Ostara festival, which is the festival of spring and fertility. So that makes perfect sense. And so if you are thinking about having children or going through the process of trying to conceive a baby, then Ostara is the goddess for you. I said she's Nordic. I don't think she's Nordic, so she's pagan, sorry. There's lots of goddesses to remember. So this is particularly speaking to you if you're in that position of trying to conceive or you're pregnant. Call upon Ostara to help with that, to bring success with that, and to bring health with that too. So that's a really powerful card. And for those of us that maybe aren't in that position, then this is also a sign of new birth, new beginnings, new hope, which is exactly what spring is about, isn't it? So it's really lovely that she's come out for us today. And, and it's about, digging deep physically within ourselves to understand how we can feel better about ourselves. What can we do in terms of our self-care regime that improves our confidence and makes us feel more able to get back out in the world again. And now, because, and I think, I talked about it last month, that, the weather is getting better, the mornings and the evenings are getting lighter, is getting out in the spring sunshine and the spring nature, which is what Ostara brings. And so that would have been the festival, is like the bringing of new life, the bringing of the sun. And so she's really says that actually physically that's what we need to do. We need to get out there and get some vitamin D, because we probably are lacking in that completely. But so I think there's two meanings to this. There's one for us, those of us that aren't going through any kind of pregnancy related stuff, is bringing us new joy and new hope, and a reminder to get out there in the sunshine and in nature, and to be reborn in ourselves physically. But again, for those of you, and there will be people out there that are going through a pregnancy journey, then she's really strong and powerful at the moment. This is her time. Like Easter was the festival of Ostara. Ostara, you can see where they went with that. So this is particularly powerful for you guys right now. Okay, so socially, we've got Kali, endings and blessings. So what this is telling us, that actually socially, we're coming to an end and going into a beginning. We are going to be soon allowed to mix more. And what I'm really feeling this card is any of the sadness or the loneliness that we've felt by not connecting physically with people. All of the times you wished you could have a hug or give a hug, and all of the celebrations that you've been through where you haven't been able to have your loved ones near you. If you've lost loved ones in this time, then it's now time to start releasing that. If you feel resentment for the situation, and I have a little bit, I'm turning 40 and we're still in lockdown in London. I was like, I've got to release that and know that I'm going to have my husband here. I've got a little tuxedo for my dog to dress up in. We'll, got the abundance and the luck to be able to have a takeaway. And if the weather's like this, I can get out for a lovely walk. So I've got to release all of that and, look at the positives. And that's what we've got to do, particularly around social situations, is release that fear of going back out there, or release that resentment or that sadness that you felt around missing people and missing certain occasions and celebrations. And we're still in full moon energy actually, so for the next 3 days you can still do your full moon release ceremony, and that is what Kali is really pushing us to do, to get ready to be sociable again, and any of those hang-ups we've got about have I forgotten how to have a conversation, and have I got de-skilled in certain parts, is we haven't, we've just been on pause. That's what I've just had shouted in my head. We've been on pause. We can press play again, but in order to do that, we're just going to need to acknowledge those feelings that we had and release them. They were legitimate. They are legitimate, that we are allowed to feel that way. But in order to get back out socially and reconnect in a way that's going to bring us joy and make us feel ourselves again, is just letting go of all that has been. Okay, and spiritually, hey, we have Lakshmi, and this is saying bright future. So again, this is really, similar to what we were talking about last time, where, we were feeling worried, or I was feeling worried that because I'm not spending a lot of time with the angels and with the spirit world right now, they're going to disconnect from me. And I very strongly got a message that that's not the case. Well, this is just, again, more confirmation of that. Stop worrying about it. Why are you worrying about that? Why are you worried about being able to, reconnect? Why are you worried about being able to talk to your angels? Why are you worried about being able to practice healing again if you do that in your own life? Whilst practice makes perfect, we never actually lose that skill. And why? It's because it's our purpose. So we're not de-skilled, we're not disconnected, we've not been left alone, and we have to start from the beginning. We can just pick up exactly where we left off. So actually what Lakshmi has come out to say today is like, chill out. Chewy beans, it's fine. You are still a spiritual enlightened light worker. Okay, fantastic. I'm really happy with that. And then the one that kind of slipped out is Sage. And so Sage is telling us to also spend some time in quiet reflection. And what I'm feeling from this is, don't feel like we have to put ourselves right out there straight away. 29th, you're allowed to see 6 people, 5 other people, go and see 5 other people from, we don't have to do that. That actually it's about getting the balance between reconnecting with society, reconnecting with the world, reconnecting with ourselves in that, by having quiet time as well, and making sure that we feel confident in what we're doing, and spending that time in reflection. Okay, so one card from the moon deck that I'm conscious I've been waffling on for quite a long time. Okay, so one card just that tells us what we need to know right now. Full moon in Pisces. So last night was full moon in Virgo, but we are in Pisces season. So that's a nice little reminder. And this is telling us about balance. We got balance last time, didn't we? Just before we got creativity, and I talked about it being season of Pisces. So what full moon in Pisces is telling us is that, we still need to get the balance between practicality and spirituality. And, and as we come, this next stage of coming out of hibernation is, acknowledging the fact that we are humans living a spiritual life, as I said at the beginning, and balancing that and not feeling like we have to go full pelt into one or the other area, because that again is going to have an impact on our confidence, because we'll be neglecting one side of ourselves. And actually both sides are equally as important. So we need to make sure that as we re-emerge, as we're reborn, that we're reborn with that balance and that acknowledgement that there are things that we have to do, both in our regular everyday life as well as in our light worker life. So going full pelt into one with ignoring the other will unbalance us, and that's not going to be good for our confidence. So we've had some amazing, beautiful messages there. I hope that's brought you joy. I hope that's given you something to think about, and I hope it's given you some answers. It certainly has given me some answers. So I wish you a wonderful March, a wonderful jump into spring, and I hope that when we get back together for April, we'll be feeling much more like ourselves. So, light and love, blessings to you all.